I wrote it fairly quickly, and so did Arthur, and Jeffrey was very enthusiastic about it. What he didn't know was that he only had the rights to that book for a short period of time because it went into the public domain. So all of a sudden, anybody could do Phantom of the Opera. Well, fine. We had our score by then, and in fact, we were doing backers auditions. I remember flying with Arthur and Jeffrey to Santa Fe, and there was a bunch of investors there, and I remember playing the score for them. And we had a set designer who had started to do some drawings, and then. And by the way, I find it's true in so many subject matters. How many Cinderellas are there? How many Beauties and the Beasts are there? And in this case, there was a Ken Hill production in England. Andrew Lloyd Webber had seen that. He was fascinated with the story, and he announced that he wanted to write Phantom of the Opera. Same thing happened to me when I started writing Titanic, and all of a sudden, here's this movie that comes along. We opened first there. But in any case, as soon as the word came that Andrew was interested in writing Phantom, because of the nature of the business, and it is show and business. It's two words. There were a lot of people in New York, and I don't blame them, who thought, well, how are we going to compete with a juggernaut like Andrew, who has had so many wonderful successes, and so the bottom dropped out. So that had happened to me before, and it happened to me after, and that's part of what we go through as creative people. And that was it. The Lloyd Webber brilliant show, of course, had great success, the most successful show ever, actually. I would say before that, a number of people had heard my score, one of whom was a guy named Andrew Gurevich, who's a critic, and he wrote an article for Connoisseur magazine called The American Masterpiece That Will Never Be Heard, and something very nice about my score. And Frank Young, who ran Theater Under the Stars in Houston, read that and had heard about it through Jeffrey. And so he said, I want to hear the score. And so right here in New York City, he came, I was there with Arthur, and I played him the score. And I would say in the old days, the composer sat down and played the songs. And he said, it's wonderful. He says, I want to do it. I want to do it at Theater Under the Stars. And he did give us a spectacular, with wonderful cast and a wonderful set, a spectacular production of this show. And shockingly, even at the first performance, I mean, there we were in Texas, and granite-hearted cowboys in Texas took out their bandanas or whatever they had and were just dabbing their eyes, and everybody was crying. And I thought, well, if you touch people like that, it's really worth doing it.